Hello, welcome. Do you today want to pick apart some family drama? Want to work out whether some parents are massive bort holes with me? Fabulous! Because we're going to have a look at r/best of Redditor updates, and this one looks long and full of the dramatics. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to with me today, please do stick around and enjoy. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I really want to get to 1,000 before my birthday in March. So if you do subscribe, thank you so much. And thank you so much to the people who are already here and subscribed. I appreciate the lot of you. Okay, so this one was shared to the subreddit by Choice Evidence 1983, and the title is New Update, Am I the Bort Hole for telling my parents they deserved to be kicked out of my sister's wedding? Yes, I changed that title a little bit just to make it make sense. So, Choice Evidence 1983 is not the original poster. They are the person that compiled it all together for us like a lovely little bean, so we could go through it all. The original poster is u/throw-ra as sisters wed. Originally posted in r/am I the bort hole, and we do have some trigger warnings for entitlement, bullying, favoritism, golden child syndrome, emotional abuse, and manipulation. So if any of those things are something you can't handle, do feel free to go find a different video. I've got flipping loads now. There's tons for you to go through. Okay, recap. Posted originally on May 15th, 2025. This is a throwaway as my brother is on Reddit and I don't want him knowing my real account name. So, my 37F brother, Mike, 35M, is a knob. Oh, I could tell you're from the UK already just from that sentence alone. Always has been and always will be. He has been babied to the point of uselessness by our mum and dad, and that's made him an entitled slob. When he was younger, he showed promise playing rugby, which had my mum and my dad believing that he was going to be a superstar. The problem was, though, that he never had the work ethic to fully fulfill his potential. However, this meant that he was the golden boy of the family, and he could do no wrong in my parents' eyes. Not one of those. See these a lot on Reddit. Can't stand those types. He was a bully at school, which they brushed off as other kids making up lies. Course they did. But he was an even bigger bully at home to our younger sister Kelly, 31F. He would constantly prank her, which basically meant he would do anything he could to embarrass her, including things like pulling her dress up in front of the whole family at a wedding when she was 15. What a little turd. Mum and Dad just said it was siblings being siblings, but the rest of the family were mortified by his behaviour. I did try and stick up for my sister, and it worked to a certain extent, but after I went away to uni, there wasn't much I could do as Mum and Dad just don't listen to anyone. Mum and Dad are really hankering for everyone to go no contact with them, aren't they? It got so bad that when she was 18, my sister gave up going to her dream university, St Andrews, and instead moved to London to go to the Imperial College London. This was a huge shock to all of us, as she had been talking about St Andrews since she started high school at 11. Yeah, she really wanted to get as far away as possible, huh? When I asked why, she said that St Andrews was too close to home and she would be expected to go home more often. But if she went to London, she would only have to go home for Christmas. After she left, she did exactly that. The only time she was home was Christmas and when I got married. This annoyed Mum and Dad as they said that she was abandoning the family. I just know that these parents are going to be the type to go, "Everyone else is the problem, not us and the golden child. What are you talking about? Get out of here." Go on, get. I kept my mouth shut and just let them whine occasionally as I didn't want an argument. After graduating from uni, my parents expected her to move back home, but she didn't. Good on her. She got a job working in southern England and stayed down there. We're from Scotland for reference. Oh, she went far away. She literally went to the other end of the country. My goodness. 6 years ago, Kelly met a great guy, Jake, 30M. The day she met him, she called me gushing about him, and I've honestly never heard her speak about anyone the way she does him. Ah, I've met him several times when I've gone down to visit Kelly, and he's great. Good looking, funny, great job, his family are lovely, and most importantly, he treats Kelly like she hung the moon. It's very cute. Ah, that's so sweet. And honestly, Kelly flippin' deserves it. My goodness, the poor love. After she met him, she cut down how much she came home even more as she spent the first Christmas with his family, and then the pandemic happened, so she ended up not coming home for 3 years. I bet that was the most peaceful 3 years of her life. Her first Christmas home, Mike started his bullshit, trying to be the centre of attention. When it didn't work out as well as he wanted, as most of the family were more interested in getting to know Jake, he then tried to prank Callie. He got a big bowl of water and was going to pour it over her. Jake saw what was happening and stepped in front of Kelly, telling Mike to not even think about it. Yes! Yes, Jake. You tell him. Slap him a bit. I didn't say that. Who said that? Side note, Jake is 6'3" and has been doing martial arts since he was 4, so he can be very intimidating when needed. Mum and Dad tried to play it off as a harmless prank, but Jake was having none of it. Mike started whining about how it just been a prank, and Jake told him that if he pranked Kelly one more time, he would prank Jake by putting his foot up his ass and his fist down his throat. You tell him. Kelly and Jake left about an hour later, but after that, Mike, Mum and Dad all had an issue with Jake. Oh no, he stood up to the favourite child. How awful. Kelly hasn't been back home since. That leads us to now. Callie and Jake are getting married. They sent out invites in February for August. However, they didn't invite Mike. I think that that's fantastic. I hate seeing stories where people feel obligated to invite family members who have essentially been their bullies their whole lives, because it's family, and if I don't invite them, everyone's going to be really annoyed with me and really disappointed. And honestly, so what? So what? Empower yourself. Don't believe that you have to pander to other people because other people are going to be annoyed. If other family members are annoyed that you don't want your bully at your big event, they are not worth coming to your big event either. Family is not the be-all and end-all. I know that there is this societal obligation to put your family first and, forgive family for everything, and you must have your family in your life. They're your family. No, absolutely not. Family can come from anywhere and any source. Friends can be family. Even work colleagues could be family if you're close enough. You can feel like they're your family. You can do family-like things. I think if we stopped putting this pressure on ourselves to accept family despite all their flaws and blah, 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 and we must have family in our lives, so many more people would be so much happier. Anyway, we went on a tangent, sorry. Mum and Dad are obviously incensed by this and had a huge argument with Kelly. They threatened not to go, and Kelly just said no problem. She would get Grandad to walk her down the aisle. I went around to their house on Saturday with my kids. Immediately, my mum started complaining about Kelly and the wedding. I sat and listened for a while before I'd had enough. I asked her what did she actually expect. Her and Dad have allowed Mike to be the golden child and get away with everything. Because of that, he can't keep a relationship, due to him thinking everyone should do everything for him. He can't hold down a job because every job is beneath him, and he is still living at home with zero prospects in life. The man-child is a bully who I don't trust to be around my children children unsupervised. He bullied Kelly for most of her teen years, and her only escape was to move over 400 miles away and never come home. My mum got very quiet and then asked me to leave. A few hours later, my dad called going mad because I'd upset my mum and was taking the side of an ungrateful little girl instead of my parents who gave me everything. This started a huge argument between me and him where I told him that he'd been a crap dad to Kelly and didn't deserve to walk her down the aisle. I've just had enough, but now I've got extended family members telling me I've gone too far as my mum is barely speaking to anyone and keeps crying. All I can say is the truth hurts, mate. My granddad said it was about time I told them off, but my grandma is upset by all the arguing. So, am I the butthole for telling my parents that they sucked as parents and deserve to be kicked out of my sister's wedding? Now, everybody say it with me. No, definitely not. Absolutely not. It needed to be said. They needed to be told. I'm a little disappointed though, because if Granddad has thought all along that the parents are massive buttholes, why did he not say anything when they were kids? Why did he not, put his foot down and be like, hey, you two, you are ruining your children's lives by letting your little monster run around and bully them. Like, why didn't he step in? But, I don't know the dynamics, so I can't comment too much. So, of course, Am I the Butthole has no consensus spot, but OOP was not the butthole. I'm not surprised. So, relevant comments. Commenter 1. Not the butthole, but if they can't stand the truth, they need to hibernate. I vote Grandpa walks her down the aisle regardless of who attends. Yes. And then OOP says, my sister isn't changing her mind. They aren't going to the wedding no matter what. She only invited them as she thought it was the right thing to do in the first place, so Grandad will be walking her no matter what. Commenter 2. Not the butthole. Your parents failed both of your siblings, and it's going to get worse when they realise your sister won't invite them to her events, and when they realise that their son will become homeless after they pass. Exactly. Honestly, I'm shocked your brother hasn't been arrested yet. And then the OOP says he has. Multiple times for getting into fights when drunk. Nothing ever come of it. So, commenter 3 says, not the butthole. Truth hurts and that's why your mother is so upset. About time someone said something. And then the OOP says, I think this is true. She isn't arguing that I'm wrong. She just went quiet and hasn't spoke to me since. I think my words hit her hard and that's why she's so upset. Definitely, I would agree. Commenter 4. Your mum's tears are her own doing. She ignores her daughter being treated like shit for years, and then instead of owning it, she tries to play the whole, woe is me, I'm crying so you can't possibly be upset with me. It's actually pathetic. And your sister is better off far away from your family. Maybe you could join her and also get away from the toxicity, not the butthole. And then the OOP says, I've already said to my husband that I don't want to be around my family for Christmas, so we're going to his. If they all carry on, then I'm going no contact fully. And then someone says, did someone bully Mike prior to his bullying Kelly? OOP says, it's never happened. He was always the bully. Even when he was 4 or 5, he was moved class as he was bullying one of his classmates. And then the OOP on her kids being around her parents. OOP says, my kids have never been around my parents without either myself or my husband, as I know that they would let my brother be around them unsupervised. They won't be going anywhere near my parents for a long while. They don't like going to my parents' house anyway. And then commenter 5, have they pampered and spoiled Mike because he's the only boy? Not the butthole, bless you and Jake for being in Kelly's corner. And then the OOP says, my dad loves rugby. It's pretty much all he talks about and he is down at the rugby club every chance he gets. So it's more about him having talent in the sport, which he did. He was told by scouts when he was 13 that he could be in the back row for Scotland one day. He was that good. The favouritism started after that, as that made him special to mum and dad. However, he didn't have the work ethic and couldn't keep up with play as he wasn't fit enough, so he got dropped. Update May 18th, 2025, 3 days later. Hi all, that post took off a lot more than I thought it would. There was way too many comments for me to respond to, but I tried to read every one of them. I was asked for an update, so here it is. There were a few things that came up repeatedly, so I'll address them first. The pranks only started after I had left and gone to uni. He would say things to Kelly, and I would have a go back at him when we were younger, but it wasn't anything more than that until I'd left home, so there wasn't anything I could really do to stop it. I did speak to our parents, but they're useless. Second thing was about my kids. I didn't bring my kids around them very much as they didn't like going to my parents' house. They said it was boring and they don't like Mike. Shocker. However, after all of the comments I got about this, I sat them down and asked them again. For my daughter, it really is just that she finds it boring and says that Mike is a weirdo. My son, however, said that he doesn't like being around my dad as he keeps trying to make him play rugby. I have heard these comments and have told my dad to drop it, but he would still make the comments occasionally. I had no idea that it was upsetting my son though, so this surprised me. My son doesn't like sports, be it watching or playing. He's very much like his dad in that regard. He's a Pokemon kid, playing online and goes every Thursday evening to play in a tournament at our local card shop. So rugby is an absolute no-go for him. The third thing was about security at the wedding. I spoke to Kelly and Jake said that two of his groomsmen are police officers who are aware of the situation, so that won't be a problem. Love it. Lastly, there was a lot of comments about Mike being the golden child. For a bit more backstory, he wasn't really the favourite until his talent in rugby came to light. After that, he was special and had to be treated that way. I think he was seen as mum and dad's way of being special themselves within the family, as they had such a super talented child. Anyway, today, I decided to sit down with my parents and tell them that I needed a break from them. When I got there, my dad immediately wanted me to apologise to my mum, but I said that wasn't going to happen. Good, I'm glad. Do not bow down. There was a bit of back and forth between him and I until my mum stepped in and asked why I was there if not to apologise. I told them that I'd spoken to Kelly and she didn't want them at the wedding at all, that they needed to stay away and respect her decision. They weren't happy, but they said they wouldn't go anywhere they weren't wanted. I then told them that I wanted space until after the wedding as I couldn't keep going around them and keeping my mouth shut. I thought that space would be good for all of us. My mum wasn't happy and started on about seeing my kids. I told them the truth. My kids hated coming to the house and told my dad exactly why my son doesn't want to be around him. He got upset by this and said rugby would be good for him. I shut that down and said that I'm not going to force my son to do something that he doesn't want to, and something I know he will hate. I also told him that if I hear him mention it around my son again, then he won't see my son again. Right now, they will only be seeing my kids at family events, so I'm hoping that it won't be a problem. I then asked them what their long-term plan was with Mike. Are they going to keep things the way they are until they're 90 and Mum will still be making all his meals? What happens when they're gone? Who will look after him? Because it won't be me. What happens if they get ill? Who will look after them? Mike is incapable. Kelly lives down south and I plan on moving back to my husband's hometown 3 hours away once the kids have left home, so I can't do it. They just looked at me blankly. I really don't think that they had ever even thought about any of that before. No, I don't think they would have either. I told them that they had set Mike up to fail and now they needed to deal with it. I also told them that I knew that they were leaving everything to him in their will, but that with how they've babied Mike, he would blow through that money in less than a year, and then what? I could see the panic in my mum's eyes when I said that. She either hadn't thought about it, or she thought I would look after him, which she now knows isn't gonna happen. I also think she was shocked that I knew about their will. I mean, it wouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out, would it? After me telling them what low contact with me was going to look like going forward and them not being happy about it, I left. Hopefully I've given them a lot to think about. I will check in with them from time to time, but that's all right now. I'm going to visit Kelly in the next couple of weeks, so I'm looking forward to that. My extended family have also backed off after I sent them all a text saying that if they were so concerned about my mum, then they could be a support system and deal with Mike the same way Kelly and I have had to for years. Not surprisingly, none of them wanted to. You don't say. I am shocked. Otherwise, I'm going to just try and get on with things as normal. Thanks for the not the bought hole verdict and all the advice. It opened my eyes to a few things that I've been brushing off. So, some relevant comments. OOP on her parents' finances and if Mike would get the house. OOP says, my parents don't have much in savings, so Mike will sell the house as quickly as possible, go into the cheapest rented accommodation he can find, and blow the money on FIFA, nights out and clothes. He will be broke within a year. He racked up £5,000 on credit cards with FIFA packs. £5,000 on FIFA packs. Mate, you need to get a hobby that's not FIFA. So most of the money will go there. They don't have much savings, but they have the house. They've said a few things through the years that indicated that he will get that as me and Kelly have our own houses. It's something I accepted a long time ago. How did OOP know about her parents' wills? OOP, it was an educated guess mostly. They have been hinting for years about how myself and Kelly having houses so we don't need theirs, but Mike doesn't. They only really have the house, so it makes sense that he would get it after the comments they've made. Commenter 1. So, I read your original post. Your brother pulled up your sister's dress at a wedding, like exposing her when she was 15 and he was 18 to 19. Was he an adult for most of the torment? That is actually such a good point, and I didn't think of that. That's even worse. That is disgusting. Commenter. So, I don't blame your children and anyone for not wanting to be near such a creep, and I'm just sad that your other family are cowards and never told off Mike and your parents for his behaviour and their coddling. OOP then says the pranks started when he would have been 15-ish. He was 19 when he pulled up her dress. And then commenter 2, did I miss something in this or the original post? Is Mike disabled in some way? Why on earth would OP's parents assume that he'll just keep living with them until they die and then need someone to look after him? Most parents with failure to launch children they keep sponsoring seem to assume that something will magically happen to make them grow up and act like functional adults any day now. OOP, no, he isn't disabled at all. My parents just keep saying he's finding himself. Sure. Has Mike ever held a job before? OOP, yes, but none that have ever lasted more than 6 months. He gets one when he wants something expensive that our parents can't afford, like a PS5, and when he has enough money for it, then he quits. That's if he's not been fired already. And then says he currently doesn't have a job and isn't looking. The longest he's had one was 6 months. She, OOP's daughter, said that he's weird because he spent doing anything. That bit doesn't make sense and I can't figure out what they're trying to say. Spent time not doing anything, maybe? Just sits in his room playing video games. So we have a quick update, August 16th, 2025, nearly 3 months later. Quick update. Hi all, sorry I went MIA, but I've been super busy. Not with this issue, but just with life in general. So, Kelly got married last weekend and everything went without a hitch. Ah, our parents and Mike didn't even try to attend, but I know that Mum did try and contact her a few times before the wedding, via other family members. Kelly wasn't interested and made that clear by not responding and or threatening the family member that they would be uninvited as well. That put an end to it. Mike is still a drain on society according to a cousin of ours. I don't know firsthand as I've not been in contact with him at all. I've spoken to Mum and Dad once since the last post and they haven't changed, so I don't have the energy to deal with them. My kids don't miss them one bit either, so it's not been a problem keeping the kids away from them. Right now, I'm just going to get on with my life with my husband and kids. I've been talking to Kelly a lot more since all of this, which is a huge positive to come out of it. Sorry that there were no dramatics like Mike and our parents trying to storm the wedding, but everything went smoothly. Thanks for all the comments and advice in my previous post. I'm glad the wedding went smoothly. Kelly flaming well deserves it. Oh my god. And then relevant top comments. Commenter 1, I am delighted that everything went well for Kelly. She deserves it, but I'm dying to know what happens when life finally slaps Mike and your parents. Me too. Your mum will crack first, but she won't stand a chance against your dad and brother. Keep a healthy distance and have a lovely, lovely life without them. And then the OOP says, I'm completely no contact with them right now, but I find out little bits here and there from other family members. Dad is adamant that I will come around, and mum is playing the sympathy card. I don't think that they understand that they're pushing me away even more by acting like they are. My life is so much simpler and less stressful without them in it. And then commenter 2 says, I am so happy for Kelly and Jake. And you and your big shiny spine standing up to your folks like that. So proud of you both for putting up and holding firm to those boundaries. It's hard, really hard. And then commenter 3 says, you've done what you can, OP. You've warned your parents about the consequences of enabling a man-child, but they didn't listen. They doubled down. Let them live with their own misery. You, Kelly, and your children will be better off without them. So we then have a new update. Some progress, November 27th, 2025, a bit over 3 months later from the previous update. Hi all, I said I would update if anything changed, and something has started to. I think my mum has finally woke up and seen the light when it comes to Mike. Oh. It was my son's birthday 2 weeks ago, and my mum reached out to say that she had got him some presents. I was a little reluctant to accept the presents, as in the past they've all been rugby based, but she promised that they weren't this time, so I let her come round to my house and give them to my son. Turns out my son is easily bought, just like any kid. A friend of my mum's has gone to Seoul on holiday in October, and my mum had asked her to bring back some Pokemon cards if she could find any. My son loves Asian Pokemon cards and has a whole separate binder just for them. She bought back 20 packs back for him. My mum also got him a Pokemon backpack and a teddy and a Funko Pop of his favourite Pokemon. She had really put a lot of thought into what he likes and even gone to our local card shop and asked there about what to get him. Needless to say, my son was ecstatic. I mean, that's really nice and sweet, and I bet your dad had no input in that whatsoever. I could just tell. To me, this showed that she was really trying, and after that, I agreed to meet her for lunch a few days later. She told me that her and my dad were fighting all of the time because of Mike. She had put a foot down and said that Mike needs to get a job and stick with it, and that she isn't going to give him any more money. My dad defended Mike, no surprise there, and said that he just needed more time to find himself. He's 35! This had led to loads of arguments and my mum going on strike. Oh, that's amazing. She isn't cooking for either my dad or Mike and isn't doing their washing or ironing. This is something that she had done before when she is royally pissed off. She said that I was right when I told her that they weren't helping Mike by babying him and he needed to grow up. I was a little shocked by this, but very happy about it. I am speaking to her regularly again and she seems to be adamant about Mike getting and keeping a job. I'm still a little reluctant to trust her fully, as she could very easily go back to how she was before, but I'm calling this a little bit of progress. My dad has his head up his arse though, no change there. Anyway, I had a spare 10 minutes and thought I'd keep you all updated. We will see how Christmas goes and if my mum backs down, but fingers crossed she has turned a corner. That's really good. I'm glad that the mum, at least, has given her head a wobble and is making an effort and obviously going out of her way to get playing cards direct from Korea because she knows that the grandson loves Asian Pokemon cards. That's a hell of a big thing, isn't it, really? Because beforehand it was just like, no, your son needs to be a carbon copy of his granddad, otherwise we're not going to care. So she's obviously stewed on it, mulled on it, seen the error of her ways. Did she fight it at first? Of course she did. Most people do when they find out they're in the wrong. Most people do, and it's natural. So kudos to her for making a big change. Also, hats off to the OP for seeing the change, appreciating the change, giving her mum space to become a better person, whilst also going, I'm still going to keep you a little bit at arm's length because I want to make sure that this is real progress. That's really good. Like, that's a very healthy way to deal with it also. Anyway, let's have a look at what the comments say on the Best of Redditor Updates post then, shall we? Ella Carr the First says, it's good to see some progress in these shite parent-family dynamics. And then Boeing 36780 says, the father thinks the sun shines out of his son's rear end. Age 35 and still finding himself. Father is truly delusional. And by the way, I just want to say that you can be 35 and still finding yourself, whilst holding down a job, whilst cleaning up after yourself, whilst cooking, blah, blah, blah. But this is not the type of finding themselves they're talking about. I feel as humans, you're finding yourself until the day you flip and die. You are changing. We are ever-changing entities. That is absolutely fine, natural, normal. Brilliant, actually. It's always good to change for the better. Figure out who you want to be and what mark you want to leave on the world. Fantastic. Finding yourself by being a bum and mooching off your parents whilst bullying your siblings. No. If mother sticks to her guns, I can see a huge fight between mother and father over inheritance, because father will want it all to go to son so he can keep finding himself. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so I think that's all we've got time for today. If you made it all the way to the end with me, I feel this may be a long one, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give it a little like, subscribe, notifications on, leave a comment as an offering to the algorithms. We must please the algorithm gods. Then there's your initiation into the Covenant Void. Welcome. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Bye!